Hello everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Donna. I need to make sure my pan's hot here. Today we are making up some caldo de res, which is basically it's a Mexican soup. It's different from a lot of us that are used to a different vegetable soup. It's got a little bit of different spice to it, chunkier. It's a delicious soup, so that's what we're making. And everything you need for this will be in the description box. We got the perfect weather. We're getting some cold weather here in Texas. So we're wanting some soup. So we're going to get some started here. So here in my pot I have just maybe a tablespoon, and I'm using a large pot with a little bit of oil in there. Maybe a tablespoon, not a lot. And I'm going to get these seared up a little bit, and then we'll add some. Those there are some beef chuck roast ribs. Now you can use the shank or this any kind of beef that you like, with because the bone it flavors it a lot. And then we'll just do some regular stew meat to give us a little bit more meat. So I'm going to brown, and you could do the oxtails, whatever kind you like, as long as it's got the bone in it. But we're going to sear these, and then we'll get the stew meat seared up. Okay, now I have my stew meat in there. We got our short ribs seared off. You're not looking to cook them through. This just more flavor in your broth of your soup. Now I did salt and pepper these, both of them. That should be good. Now you don't have to sear any of this if you don't want. For me, I always sear first because it's just more flavor. So I don't skip this step. We got our Christmas ringtone on over here. Okay, let me get that turned off real quick. Now to that, I'm going to go ahead and add those ribs right back to that stew meat there. We're going to get some good-sized onion in there. I just quartered it, half of an onion. I think that's 1.5 pounds of the short ribs and 1.5 pounds of the stew meat there. And have 1 bay leaf. And we'll just cook this up. Let some of those flavors of that onion come out. And then I have some, this is optional. A lot of people like to put jalapeno or serrano peppers. I like to use the chipotle in the adobo sauce. You could put 1 or 2 of these in there. Gives it a nice flavor in your broth. And a pretty color. Get those in there. Get them chopped up really well. And just stir this up for maybe another minute. Then we'll get our garlic in here in our broth, and we'll get these ribs and meat here going with the broth, like I said, and get everything nice and tender. Throw my garlic in there. Maybe 20 seconds on that. Some tomato sauce. You can substitute tomato sauce with fresh tomato. A couple of tomatoes if you like. Canned tomatoes. Okay. Now to this, we are going to add our broth. Now you can use regular water or you can use a beef broth. Beef broth for me is just more flavor. So we're going to get that in there. I just used my, got a lot of that in the bottom there. I just used the Knorr bouillon. This one here, the powder. Now, like I said, you can use water. So what I'm going to do is bring this up to a boil. Once it starts boiling, I'll lower it to a gentle boil, and maybe after 20 minutes or so, you see the impurities, the foam that starts to come to the top. Remove it. Remove that foam, but I'm going to wait for it to come to a boil. I'll get those impurities removed from there once it boils. Here goes my dog. And we'll be back. That's probably going to take a good hour and a half to 2 hours until everything is tender. And then we'll get our other vegetables added to that. Okay? Okay, mine's been going for about maybe an hour and 15 minutes or so. So the soup is chunky, so carrots are always the longest to cook. So I have my carrots. I'm going to add these in now. Hot. Oh, this is gonna be good. Now, it just depends on how hard you're boiling it, you know, how long your soup's gonna take, but it's still got a ways to go. But we're gonna get those carrots in there. We'll drop our vegetables in at different times because the textures are different on, like the potatoes, the squash, the cabbage. So we'll get these dropped in after a while. And I'm going to let this cook probably 20 more minutes or so, just until you see those carrots are starting to get soft. Okay. I just checked my carrots. They've been cooking maybe, I think, 12 minutes. And we'll go ahead and get our potatoes in there. And these I have cut large as well, because as we know, soup, as it sits in a hot pot, it's going to continue to soften these vegetables. So I always turn my soup off probably a good 20 minutes before everything's done. I don't like my vegetables turn into mush. And I am using golds because they tend to hold their shape a lot better than a russet that will get a little bit too soft at times and just fall apart on you. But if that's what you have, you use it. You use whatever you have, whatever you like. And I'm going to add my corn. I'm going to turn my pot back up, bring it to a boil, and then turn it back down, put the lid back on it. But you want to add your vegetables at different times. I'm going to bring that to a boil. Once it does, I'll turn it down and do a soft boil on it. Okay, put your lid back on. Okay, my corn and potatoes been going for about maybe 10 minutes. Now, all you people that make soup, you know how it goes. Add them in different stages, right? But this is for the people that's not quite sure. Now I'm going to get in my squash. I like zucchini. We'll get that in there and cut. You can see there I cut it pretty thick. That way they don't turn to mush. Get those in there. I got a couple of medium large ones here. And I'm going to crank my heat back up just to get it to a boil. And I'll turn it back down again and get my lid back on it. And this isn't going to take long because squash and cabbage, my cabbage is definitely something I don't like to overcook it. And just cut it in some big wedges. I got 3 big wedges. And I won't stir it anymore, the soup, after I get my cabbage. Just make sure it's all submerged in there. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. I think I got 3 wedges of cabbage here. Some of us don't like cabbage. I love it. But I got some big wedges of cabbage putting in there. You think I need a bigger pot, y'all? Maybe I'll go with 2. But we're going to just cook this probably another 10 to 15 minutes. Turn it off and just let it keep cooking in that hot broth. Remove it from that burner. I usually let mine just until, you know, there's a little bit of resistance left in the vegetable, the cabbage and the squash, because it's going to continue to heat through and keep cooking. So I'll get this to a boil, cover it back up, and give it that another 10-15 minutes. Out of sight, out of mind. I just got me a small handful of this cilantro there. Just stick that down in there and let that cook with it. Okay, my soup is all done. I let it cook for 10 more minutes with the last few ingredients I put in. Took it off the burner, set it on the other one. Moved it back over here so y'all could see it. Take my lid off and it's ready. It's ready, so we're just going to get this bowled up. Okay, my friends, there's the soup, and we're going to have it traditionally served with some Mexican rice, which I do have a video on. I'll link that below as well in the description box if you want to try that out. This is normally served with you could put some jalapenos on it if you want. You could put some pico de gallo on it if you want. Hot sauce. I just put a little bit more cilantro on it and serve it with a nice soft warmed up corn tortilla, and just squeeze a little bit of lime on it if you like. And let me tell you, those ribs, oh, are they tender. Look at there. And they got that nice fatty part right there, I see. You know what? I want to have that with a bite of my rice. Carrot's always been a favorite of mine with that potato and that meat. And some rice. I know this rice is hot. And that lime, that'll get your taste buds going. That's some good stuff right there. That is delicious. And some of the corn tortilla. That sure is some delicious soup. But I hope you guys enjoy that. Make you some up. If it's getting cold where you're at, I'm sure you enjoy that. And if I ever forget anything, I always drop it in the description box as well. But until next time, you guys stay warm, stay blessed, take care of one another, love one another, and we will see you guys soon. Enjoy a big bowl of that soup, because it sure is good. Bye-bye.